Hey y'all, welcome back to Borderset Crafts. Today we're making macrame bracelets in this pattern. And so this is the pattern we're going to be doing today, and I have only started doing macrame bracelets less than a month ago. So this is quite a learning curve for me. You can tell this is the first one I did in the pattern. This is one of the latter ones. You notice it's more even. I think this is the best one we've done so far. And last night I tried making this color with copper beads. I've learned quite a few things in the first few days or weeks of doing these. And like anything else, it takes a learning curve and some practice. So we're going to start with, this is a relatively simple pattern, but you're going to need a few tools. This is a beading board that I actually made. The outsides of it are resin, and I used stickers and temporary tattoos and sealed them in with resin. I put a cork center to stick pins in if you need to do some holding pins. And I'm finding, you know, before I make some kits to sell, I'm finding what I like about this design and what I don't. But I also have, and this will be another video, I have this black and gold, and I'm going to put koi around the outside of it. Then I've got another size I'm doing that is a regular clipboard size. It'll be a little bit more expensive. This is quite a lot of work to make those. It takes several days. So you need a beading board or piece of wood, or even a piece of cardboard, really thick corrugated cardboard. You need a cutting tool, a ruler, measuring tape. For this particular bracelet, we're going to be using, this is a 0.8 millimeter waxed cord, and you can even go smaller, and I would suggest you go to 0.5 or 0.8 because otherwise it's hard to get the cord through the holes in the beads. I have found that these cute little sauce bowls I got at Walmart are perfect for putting the beads in, because you're going to use the tip of your cord to scoop the beads onto the cord. And we have seed beads. That's SEEDBEADS, seed beads. I've got 2 packages of them because I like to have a lot of choices for color. So this is going to be a replica of this bracelet. I like the red and the tan together. Do you all? I don't know what colors you're going to take, but you'll also need a lighter for melting the cord. So the first thing we're going to do, and I'll put a link down below to the tutorial that I learned this from. And I've learned that with these tutorials, that the measurements they give frequently are not sufficient to do a full-size bracelet. A woman's bracelet is 5 inches, 5 to 6 inches. A man's bracelet is 6 to 8 inches. So we're going to do 2 cords, 48 inches long, and that's 20. $40, $48, and I always leave a little extra. In the tutorial, you'll see that she says do 45 inches, but I find that I keep having to snip the ends of the cord to get them through all the little beads. So we're going to do 2 this length, and 2 cords, 18 inches. Again, just to give us some wiggle room. So there's the 18. Two of these. And one 12-foot, or I mean, a 12-foot, 1-foot cord. First thing we're going to do is we're going to tie, just do a simple knot, overhand knot, 3.5 inches down this cord. So you see that? That's 3.5 inches. Now my hands may go off camera. I'm new at this and using my phone under this lamp to try to show you what's going on. But anyway, that's 3.5 inches. So on your board here, there's a clip on the end, and when I sell these kits, it'll have everything you need: measuring tape, clamps, the board, and enough material to make a bracelet with a URL and where to go for the tutorial. So what we're going to do is secure this under so that the knot is at the top of the cork. Okay? So I go through here, and position I'm positioning the knot right here at the top. Getting my trusty clamp, clamping it in place. So as you see, that's pretty snug. Then we're going to uncross this all the way down to the base. Take another clamp and clamp that down. So that's probably about all I need. And you might want to take some time if you've got a mixture of colors to remove the beads that you're not going to use. But for purposes of this video, so it doesn't get too terribly long, I'm going to try to deal with the multicolors without making you watch me fish them all out of this bowl. Okay. Is take one of these long 45-inch cords, and I add a couple of inches to them so we have snipping room. And you're going to do, gosh, I don't know my knot names, a half hitch notch. So can you see that, how I laid that over the top? Laying it over the top of the double cord. I'm bringing this one around, going under that, under the two cords, and over the top of this cord. And you want to just very carefully on the first knot to pull it tight, because you don't want it to miss from the center. Did you see that? So we started with the knot over here, but this time we're going to do the knot from this side and lay that over, pull this over the top, under the two supporting straight cords, and then you just pull it into a nice little, I don't know, would you call that a square knot? And then you slide that all the way up to that slip knot that you did, the overhand knot. And then you do the same thing with the other long cord. I put these ends together and then measure to the loop, which should be halfway through. Another way to do it is to slide one end under, I'm going to call those the supporting structure. Pull it until it's centered. Kind of got it backwards. I'm dyslexic, so if I can do this, you can do this. Okay? Crossing this loop over the top. Bringing the one on this side around. Over the top of this loop, under the support strings. Now, when you tune in the tutorial that I used to learn this, she makes it look so smooth and easy, but it really does take patience and practice. So over the top. I mean, my first couple of bracelets I made with this pattern took me like 3 or 4 hours to do. And now I'm down to being able to do a whole bracelet in about an hour and 15 minutes, and that's while watching TV, so if I didn't have distraction, I'd probably be a little faster. So you see, you've got 2 sets of this overhand kind of square knot. Then I'm going to do just another course of square knots, so that we'll end up with 3 knots, 2 being made by the bottom string that you put on here. And that's 1. This is 2. I'm pulling that kind of tight. Now we're going to start adding our beads. Now I cut these kind of square, and we'll see if I can go ahead and thread. So you try to get it in the center of a hole and slide that. You see how I did that? Slide that all the way down. Take the other one. Again, I learned that this is kind of the easiest way, is to put these beads in a bowl. All right, so you see how close those are? We're going to do another square knot with the 2 strings that you've got the beads on. So I lay that down over the top. Bring the other side in over the top of this. I'm going to stick this underneath the supporting cords. Pulling in through the loop. Pull that as tight as you want to have you can do it loosely, or I like it kind of firm. And then you do the opposite side, you do the same thing. Going over the top of the cord, the supporting cord, over the top of this one that's coming across, underneath all of it, through the loop over here, pulling that tight. And this is where I kind of differ from the tutorial. I'll do one more. Just because I don't like using so many beads, but I think it looks fine. You can compare my design with the original tutorial. And you know, make it your own. You don't have to follow the tutorials to the letter. Just be consistent once you set a pattern. So now I've got this pointed up over the top of the board, and I'm bringing these down. And we're doing the same thing. Over the top. Through the loop. Again, this is over the string. And this is where you're doing that pattern that gives you these loops on the sides. So you want to just gently put your finger on it. Now, some people will take a thumbtack and put a thumbtack, here to hold the design down, hold it flat so you can see it. But I've discovered that this cork that I put here isn't thick enough for a thumbtack or a pin to stay. So when I make these for sale, I'm going to put, if it's not cork, I'll put something thicker that a pin will stick in. So that's one of those, and we're going to do the second one over the top of the supporting cord, over the top of that, underneath and through under the supporting cord. I'll pull that kind of tight. Does that look good to you? That looks good to me. What do you think? So once you've done that, it's time to put more beads on. There goes one. See, that makes it so much easier than trying to hold those little seed beads and find that hole. Again, you're going to make that snug into the bracelet. Over the top of the supporting cord. Over the top of the weaving cord, and then under the supporting cord. Okay. And it gets easier as you go. Those first few can be kind of rough. So again, I'm pulling that kind of tight. So we started the loop over here that time, so now we're going to do this over the supporting cord, this over the weaving cord, up under the supporting cord, through that loop. Pull that tight, and then don't forget I like to do an extra half thingy bobby here. Extra half knot. So by now you should be picking up the pattern. Pull that tight. Put it above. Bring the others down underneath those. And we do it again. Over the supporting cord. Over the initial weaving cord. Underneath the supporting cord and up through the loopy. You want the side embellishments to be about the same size. Do this other side. Do my extra half a stitch. half knot underneath here, underneath here. Okay, this is going, oh, this is the loopies here. Time for more beads. There's one. There's the other. Over the supporting cord. Over the top of this and then under. There's one half. There's the other half. Give it one more just because I want to take up space. Up over the top. Bring the other ones down underneath it. Again, if I had thicker cork, I'd put a pin to hold this down. Over the top of the supporting cord, over the top of that one, and underneath the supporting cord. Y'all should try doing this with a cat wanting to help. You know, kitties. Over the supporting cord. Over the top of that. Underneath the supporting cord. Pull it through the loopy. And then I do just half a knot, right? You've seen me do this now 3 times. Okay, I'm going to do this down to about the end of the cork here, which is 6 inches. So that would be about the size for a woman's bracelet. And I'll be back. I'll be back once I get that done, okay? Yeah, I'll be back. Don't worry. Okay. I have reached the end of my cork. And that gives me a 6.5 inch bracelet, which is medium for a woman's bracelet. So I'm going to go ahead and do at the very end here a couple of more knots. Now I did make a mistake. In that when we put these cords on up here at the top, I should have double checked to make sure they were even in length, because I've ended up with a short piece and a long piece. But it's okay because the bracelet is long enough to fit someone's wrist. So we did 1, 2, 3 knots up here, and we've got 1, 2.5. Here will be the third one. Kind of tricky when you're dealing with a too short cord. There's the first knot. We're going to close it, make a little loopy. And we take it off the board. This has taken me under an hour, so I am getting faster. I always kind of put it across my wrist just to test it out. That's about right. Okay. Here's the fun part. A lot of people who make these bracelets will just cut it there and fire it, but that makes me nervous. I don't want it to unravel down the road if someone wears it and showers in it and whatever. So I just do a square knot with the 2 side pieces on that side, and then we do it. I have just enough to do it on this side. Again, when you put the weaving cords on, make sure they're even, because you'd much rather have too much cord than not enough. So that's what that looks like. Then we're going to leave just a little bit of cord on here, about that much. On that one side. Now you play with fire. Go to the other side, you're going to do the same thing with a weaving cord. And you see how you're left with a little bit of cord on each end? Little bit of cord on each end. I'm going to put 3 red beads on each side here. 1, 2, 3, now I measure from the bracelet forward 2.5 inches, which is about right there. Do an overhead knot. I'm going to snip that. About like that. Play with fire again. Kind of pinch it into a ball. I'm going to repeat that for all 4 of the ends. Three beads. Gonna measure it to approximately the same length. Tie your overhead knot. Overhand, not overhead. Before you pull it real tight, test it and see if it's about the right length. It's not. Then you back it out and slide that knot up. That's better. Play with fire. I'm going to do the same thing over here, but this time we're going to bend the bracelet together. And again, try to match where the end is. Oh. Okay, now we need to look at it and decide which side is the up side and which is down. And it's just a matter of preference. I say that's the side that's up. So then we're going to bend it end to end. You see, so you've got 2 of the ends on this side and 2 of the ends on this side, and you're going to take that 12-inch piece, put it underneath, make sure it's even in length, even Steven. And this is probably the hardest one, the hardest knot, because you want to keep those ends there and these ends on the other side. And then you're going to do you know, the same slip knot or the square knot that you've been doing. But you're going to have to do it up in the air. So that was crossed over there. This goes underneath and through the loop, just like you've been doing. By now you're a pro at these things. And then you pull it. Pull it tight. Do the other side. Over and under. Through the loop. If it'll cooperate. It doesn't want to cooperate. It's being persnickety. Pull it tight. Not really tight, but snug. And you're going to make 3 of those. So that's 1. Now it gets easier. Oh, and it will fight you. These strings will fight. They want to do what they want to do. But you can't let them rule you. You've got to rule them. Over the top. Under through the loop. That's 1. Do the other side. Pull it snug. That's 2 of them. I'm going to do 1 more. And I'm sorry if my hands keep going off camera. It's hard to tell because I can't really see the screen using the cell phone instead of my video camera. That's 1. Over the top of that one, down through the underside. Pull it tight or snug. Okay, now we're going to play with fire again. Okay, so the way this works is to make the bracelet tighter, you just grab these and you pull. And you may want to slide them around to make sure that the wax hasn't melted everything together when you use the fire. So there goes. Look, and there it fits. Can you see it? Am I off camera? Look. So, I hope you enjoyed it. More information is going to be in the information part down below here. Sorry for the maybe going off screen a little bit, but hopefully you could see enough of what I was doing to actually do this yourself. And next time we'll try to use the video camera. And we'll do another pattern. So there we go. I got 2 of those. Got 1 in copper. 1 in turquoise. And I think that this one's lovely. this last one, and I'm usually partial to red. So what do you think? Make some comments in the comment section. Tune in next time and see how bored I am and how I'm keeping from dropping dead from boredom. So we'll see ya. Bye.